This video is brought to you by BetUS Sportsbook and Casino.
If there's one room that I believe that there's a potential for a freshman to play, it's probably going to be in this room. Even though the room is stacked, some dudes we got to talk about that's jumping out. So we're going to continue our preview of all of these rooms. We're going to talk about the secondary now. We'll mix in some cheetah with there too. Before we do that, welcome to Unfair Sports. I'm your host, Jay. Thank y'all for pulling up to the channel. This video is sponsored by our partners over at BetUS. Check them out. 125% up to $2,000 on your first 3 deposits. They're hooking up the gamer. That way you can go in there, put a little bit of dough on Oklahoma winning the conference and the championship. Why not? Just go ahead and do it. But check them out. BetUS. Link in the description below as well as the pinned comment. Let's talk about the secondary, man. So this series has been fun, right? We've gone through the linebackers. We've gone through every position. We've got one more left, which would be right after secondary. We're going to do the quarterbacks. I wanted to do that last on purpose. And so, but we've got to talk about just how much this secondary has grown. Shout out to Jay Valai. Shout out to Brandon Hall. They have brought in some dudes over the last couple of years. And there's been a couple of standouts that y'all need to hear about, and we're going to dive into that. So stick around. A little bit later in the video, I'm going to tell you about 2 standout players that I think is going to actually play this coming season. But overall, the room has been really, really nice. Practice, as fall camp has ended, the buzz has continued. So you know what the secondary is going to look like, right? You're going to have a Woody Washington. He's going to get some game. Gentry, so it looks like he's getting healthy. He should be ready for game time. First game of the season. We'll pray that stays the same. Pray that nothing changes. But Gentry will be at that point. You also will be rocking with some of the young guys, right? We've got some young players that look like they've stepped up. Kenai Walker is one that Brent Venables purposely called out when he did his presser not too long ago, and he's been considered the most consistent in the secondary. You hear me there? Most consistent. Kenai. But Kenai also has got experience, right? He transferred in from Louisville, and he played a little bit there. Came here the last couple of years, and to me, he's done a very good job when he stepped in and when he's needed. He's also a big dude, right? He's got size, something that you guys been looking for, right? Everybody loves a corner. Everybody loves a secondary that's got size. Kenai comes in at 6'2", 205, right? He adds to this entire roster of big-time secondary players. Something that, of course, gets me excited because I like the fact that our DBs are also huge and we've got small dudes that are stout and fast, right? I mean, Billy Bowman comes in here, 5'10". Robert Spears-Jennings is 6'1", roughly 220 pounds. Dez is at 6 foot, right? I mean, Woody's 5'11". He's almost 6 foot, but he's 5'11". Bakari Vickers, 6'1". Gentry, 6 foot, right? So you've got a lot of big dudes in secondary. Jacoby Johnson, 6'2". So a lot of dudes with height. And then you got the dudes that are small, but small in height, but not in hit, right? Jeremiah Newcomb, Eli Bowen. You got a lot of players. Hell, Michael Boganowski, 6'2", right? Reggie Powers is roughly 6 foot, like he's just under. Jaden Rose, 6'2". Now, he's one that I'm hoping shows out. I hope that we get him going because he's one that I really want to see on the field. 6'2" track dude. But anyway, I want to just talk about just how good they've done in the recruiting and bringing these players in, right? And just the fact that we're hearing that Kenai is your most consistent. So you add Kenai, Gentry Williams. He'll probably sub in for Gentry often. Des Malone's going to get out there, and I'm hearing that he's starting to get acclimated well at the corner spot. And if he gets himself going in the proper way, brace yourself, Sooner fans. You're going to get yourself a nice one. And I'm excited for that to happen. So for me, corner-wise, I'm thinking depth chart. We're thinking Gentry. I'm thinking Gentry and Woody to start. But I'm thinking that by SEC play, a healthy Gentry, Jacoby Johnson is going to be your 2 corners. If Gentry's hurt, if he's got stingers or if he needs to take breaks, Kenai Walker, Jacoby Johnson. I think Jacoby Johnson's going to be one of those players, the young players that's going to jump up, take a lot of game. I'm telling you now. Just listen to your boy. Let's talk safeties. Before we do that, word from the sponsor. So this whole video and series, do it again. So this video has been sponsored by our partners over at BetUS. You got to check them out. They're giving out 125% up to $2,000 on your first 3 deposits. That way you can go in there and make some bets on your Sooners. So as you can see here, we come in this bad boy. We can type in Oklahoma, do a quick search. Boom, you're seeing everything from the Temple game. We got the lines there. We've got SEC. Let's look at the SEC. It's NBA and everything. So they got all sports. But look at this. Right now, Oklahoma's right here, roughly 9th at plus 2,500 to win. Let's go ahead and click on that bad boy. We're going to add that. We're going to throw about $100 on there. Because winning 2,500 will be awesome, especially if Oklahoma goes and do it. So we're going to place that bet in there. Take advantage of it. Confirmed. Boom. We got our bet in here for Oklahoma to win the SEC. Something worth it for me. I'm definitely feeling like Oklahoma can do it. So we're going to show up some love. But BetUS is taking care of you guys too. They're giving you 125% on your first 3 deposits, a bonus up to $2,000, hooking you all up. Even better, they give you back 10% of your net losses twice a year. So they're making sure the gamer gets a chance to get back in there. If you do lose, they're taking care of you to get back in. Hopefully they ain't give me 10% of that. Hopefully they give me the whole amount. Hopefully I'm winning that bad boy. But check them out. Link in the description below. That lets them know that I sent you. BetUS. They're our partner today. Yep, let's talk the safety room, right? I've already told you about the heights and stuff. You've got your Billy Bowman. I'm thinking to start the season it'll be Robert Spears-Jennings, another 6-footer out there. But I can totally see, as the season goes on, I can see some love going to a Peyton Bowen out there with a Billy Bowman. I think the combinations you're going to see is Robert Spears-Jennings with Billy Bowman or Peyton Bowen with Billy Bowman. I think that's going to be your 2 true 3 combinations right there. And because Peyton's going to be able to play everywhere. He's that super athletic. We know how good he is. I expect him to be in a lot of spots. Even more exciting, though, Woody Washington is expected to rotate around. And I know that Zach Alley's defense, he runs like a 3 safety high. Shout out to my guy Stats by Popo out from the court. He pointed out that Alley has a tendency, he'll run a 3 safety high, especially whenever there is like a passing down. And in some situations he will because he's got big dudes that can hit. And so to me, I anticipate that Alley's going to run a lot more of that to use all that talent in that secondary, man. I mean, we got a lot of good linebackers. We've got a lot of good safeties too, man. The safety room is stout. And so I told y'all earlier before, I have 2 dudes that I feel like is going to get out there and probably play a lot more than we anticipate. So I got to talk about those 2. The young players that I think is going to hit the field probably the earliest. I think Eli Bowen out there at Cheetah. Because I think him is going to be behind like a Kendall Dobie as well as a Samuel Mosigo, who's really your cheetahs there, right? Deshaun McCullough's not probably going to play cheetah this year. Rumor has it he's playing more of the will linebacker position. So he's more so on the weak side linebacker. And I think that's better for him. Or they can move him into like a jack role, where it's kind of a jack of all trades, more so where he does a lot of blitzing. Because he was very effective as a blitzer when he was at Indiana and getting pressure on the quarterback. He did good against Texas. You saw him do that in that game, right? I think that he'll be more effective that way, and I'm sensing it that the staff agrees. I think Zach Alley agrees, and he's going to leverage him in that capacity. So your cheetahs is going to be a Kendall Dobie, probably for more passing downs. I think Eli Bowen, actually, Kendall's probably going to be one that's going to do more blitzing, right? And a little coverage if needed. Eli's going to probably be your coverage cheetah all over the place. Supposedly, he is just lighting it up. And I think Samuel Mosigo is going to be the other one that's going to get in there and get those reps. So that once this season is over, I think that role goes between Samuel Mosigo and Eli Bowen. So young player, Eli's one that's going to be out there. The other one, I think it's going to be Reggie Powers, right? I think that Boganowski is going to also see some snaps. But I think for him, because he's such a hitter, there's a good, attrition is going to be the thing with him, right? Potentially hurting himself, knocking somebody out. But I can see him get some run. But I think Reggie Powers is going to be the safety you guys see jump a lot of people and start getting out there on the field. He's big. He's strong. He likes to hit. He's already at the weight. Him and Boganowski, man, I was thinking about just 2. there's a good chance you see some of them rotate around in there as well, just because they've got the size, they've got the power, and they got the ability. They're going to jump some of these younger players at the safety spot, man, because I think they're going to be special. No doubt about it. They're the ones that have jumped out the most. But Eli Boeing has been getting a ton of praise. Herb Venables mentioned him, and some of the other insiders have talked about him like crazy. So he's one to keep your eyes out for. So tell me what y'all think. Hop in the comments. Who do you have as your 2 deep for safety as well as corner? Want to hear from you all. We'll give you a final depth chart next week before we play against Temple. If you made it this far, you like the content, go ahead and hit that like button. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe. We would love for y'all to join this family of Sooner fans. We're talking OU football, SEC football, college football in general. Having a blast doing it. All right, last position left is quarterback. We will drop a video about the quarterback room Friday. So keep your eyes open for that. Shout out to BetUS for sponsoring this video. Get that 125% bonus on your first 3 deposits up to $2,000. Hooking the gamer up, so make sure you enjoy it. All right, we'll talk soon. Peace.